Hello, guys. Welcome to tonight's show. Now, you know what? We could be, my channel, it's called Financial Turmoil Explained. And I do the research. You guys don't have to. Welcome to the show tonight, by the way. We might be entering into some well, I'm just like a pilot, you know. A pilot is up there, and he knows the turbulence is coming up ahead, and he tells all the people in back, oh, crew, listen, 5 more minutes. Get into your seatbelts right now. We're entering into some turbulence up ahead. He knows it's coming. So you go and you sit down and you fasten your seatbelts, and then all of a sudden you feel the plane starting to shake, you know? You start hitting the turbulence. You didn't know it was coming, but the pilot knew it was coming. I do the research. You guys don't have to. And I'm going to tell you, I've spotted something in my research today, just today. And the reason why is it's just happened today. And I'm going to explain it to you guys. So we might be entering into financial turbulence on the 29th of March. And I'm going to explain to you guys why, the exact reasons why. So let's get on with it. Let's open up the charts. Okay, let me get the charts going. Here we go. Here we go. We got the charts going. This is what's starting it right here. And this is why we might enter into some, there's good possibility, we will enter into some very hard economic turbulence. Now, there's a few reasons why. One of the reasons why is this Goldilocks rally we've had in the stock market has taken us up, when the stock market probably shouldn't have went up this high. Right now, it shouldn't have went up this high. And we've got tremendous corporate buybacks, you know, and the shareholders in these corporations are making tremendous amount of money, and it's all the rage right now. Just like back in 1929, it was all the rage to do margin, to borrow on margin and go in there and pump the stock market up. Well, right now, it's all the rage. Corporate shareholders are making a fortune, and it's all the rage, you know, to make a lot of money. And that's what the margin buying in 1929 was about. Everybody was getting rich. Well, all these corporate shareholders right now are getting rich. But it's exceeded earnings. You know, I mean, this is just ridiculous. But now, all of a sudden, we got this situation. Nobody can see it. And I want to explain it to you right now. First off, it starts with this. It starts with the British Prime Minister cannot bring a similar Brexit deal in for another vote. The Speaker has ruled. Here's the Speaker right here. He's ruled on this. So she can't. She can't bring it to another vote. And he's right. He's right. What are they going to do? Vote on the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over again until finally they pass it? That's ridiculous. You know? So he's ruled, he's made a proper ruling. I would say a proper ruling that they can't bring the same thing in over and over and over again and vote on it over and over and over again. That's ridiculous. So he's right. He's right about this. I think he's right about it anyway. But he's blocking her from bringing it in for another vote unless she makes substantial changes. Now, can she make those substantial changes? The answer is probably not, because the European Union has made this deal, and they say, well, that's it. Take it or leave it to her. You know, so she's going to run back and try to get substantial changes, but how? They've said that they ain't going to make any changes to it, and they're certainly not going to make changes before the 29th of March. Not the substantial changes that the House Speaker here is looking for. The Speaker has ruled. Okay? So we got that. That's a clear wall blocking this Brexit vote. They're not going to get another vote unless she makes substantial changes. So we got that wall there. Now remember that. Now here's where it gets tricky. They have voted to extend for 3 months Article 50. Article 50 is the article that's voted into law that Britain will leave the European Union on the 29th of March, which is just a few days away. It's a few days away at this point. And if they leave right now with no deal, it's a hard Brexit. Okay? So that's what they're facing, just a few more days away. Now, in order to block that, in order to get that extra 3 months delay, they have to have all 27 member states of the European Union say okay to this deal. All 27. Now, let's take a look. We got this guy, Council President Donald Tusk. He is running around right now, the European Union, trying to organize things as fast as he can, because he knows this deadline is coming on the 29th. Tusk here is running around as fast as he can. He's running around talking to people as fast as he can, trying to organize it, because it's desperate at this point. It's desperate. They need to get this 3-month extension or we're going to have a hard Brexit. So, he says the European Union has almost given up on understanding what's going on in United Kingdom politics. This weekend, in other words, it's so complicated. I'm sorting it out for you guys. But it's so complicated that the EU's almost given up on understanding it. So's most of the other people out there. They don't understand what's going on. You have to really dig in deep to understand what's going on. What's going on right now is the United Kingdom is headed toward a deadline that's only days away. And now the votes, it's been blocked. They're not going to vote on it again. So they're heading toward this cliff, and the brakes have been pulled out on their little wheelie cart that they're pushing toward the cliff. There's no brakes anymore, in other words. So, and the only brakes they can put on it is if Donald Tusk here can organize all the EU member states to agreeing to allowing Britain to have 3 more months. So that's what he's trying to do. He's running around as fast as he can, trying to organize it so that he can get them organized so that they can stop this and put some brakes on it before it happens. But the question is, can he? Right? And it says the EU, European Union, has almost given up on trying to understand what's even going on in the United Kingdom. It says this weekend, Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte compared UK Prime Minister Theresa May to the Monty Python Knight. Okay, you remember that scene from Monty Python? Whose limbs get cut off in a duel, but insists that the opponent, that the fight was a draw. Elsewhere in the EU, there is less attempt at humor about the situation, especially with the prospects of a lengthy delay to Brexit on the cards. Yes, it is on the cards. A 3-month delay is on the cards. It says the whole point, I should say, of Article 50, remember that's the article that they signed into law that means that Britain is going to leave the European Union come hell or high water on the 29th of March. That's Article 50. Which sets out the legal process for leaving the EU is a go. The diplomatic contact from one of the UK's closest trading partners told me the UK triggered Article 50 2 years ago, but it prevaricates debate with itself and hovers around on the EU stage. With so much uncertainty surrounding when, whether, or even how many times Theresa May will invite members of Parliament to vote on her Brexit deal before March 29th, well, there's no more uncertainty. She's been stopped. Unless she can ultimately change this deal. She can't. So they're not going to be able to vote on it anymore unless she gets substantial changes. And I don't see her getting those substantial changes before the 29th of March. There are whispers, though little appetite in some EU circles, that leaders may need to hold an emergency EU summit on the 28th of March, one day before Britain goes off the cliff. They're going to hold. They're going to hold an emergency EU summit. But now here's the problem. I'm going to get to the problem. It says it's a permanent drama for us. A diplomat from Northern European country added, a sideshow that sucks the air out of everything else. With UK politics mired in a fog of confusion, the only thing the EU can control this week is choreography at the EU's Leaders Summit starting on Thursday. Donald Tusk, European Council President and the representative of all 27 EU countries in Brussels, is visiting a number of capitals to try to coordinate a single EU response. So see, what he's doing is, like I said, he's running around as fast as he can, trying to get this EU response. He's trying to coordinate a single EU response. In other words, he's trying to get them all coordinated together, all 27 EU member countries, to give this 3-month extension to Article 50. This is what he's trying to do. He's trying to coordinate them all together. He's running around shaking hands with all of them and trying to get them all in agreement to agree to this extension. But there's a huge problem. It says on Monday he is in Berlin and Paris, capitals of the EU superpowers, Germany and France. But when it comes to an extension, there's the problem. We're going to isolate the problem with all this. Any of the EU's 27 leaders has a veto. In other words, any one of these 27 EU member countries can say, we veto the whole thing. And if they do, Britain falls off the cliff because Article 50 comes into effect and they've got a hard Brexit. Okay? It says the decision must be unanimous by all 27 leaders. Now here it gets to the meat of the article, and you'll be thankful you listened to what I had to say up till now. If you stayed this long, good, because we're getting to the meat of it all. It says this conjures up horror visions in the EU leaders' minds. Conjures up horror visions over being held ransom by one of their ranks, keen to use this leverage over Brexit to win a concession from Brussels over a separate issue. Can we think of perhaps Italy saying, okay, we're not going to agree to the extension for Brexit, a 3-month extension. Let Britain fall over the cliff unless we get whatever we want. Can you see this? They want concessions from Brussels. They're very possibly just one of these member countries, or even multiple ones of these countries, who are maybe not doing so well. Maybe Spain, or maybe Italy, or Portugal, or one of these other countries could suddenly say, hey, you know what? Let Britain go off the cliff unless we get $10 billion more dollars. Or unless we get whatever we want. You know what I mean? This is the problem. And there's 27 different ones of them. Any one of which can hold this whole thing up. And if they hold it up past the 29th, over the cliff Britain goes. Now here, this is the important part. They're not going to have this big summit until the 28th. So there's only one day to wrangle over this. Britain's going to fall over the cliff on the 29th. So they're going to all 27 of these member countries will all be wrangling, trying to get concessions, and it's just going to be a madhouse of tearing papers, throwing papers up in the air, screaming at one another. We want $10 billion. The other guy over there, we want $20 billion. Oh, we want this, we want that. We want a new bridge. We want a new factory. We want this, we want that. If you're going to get our vote, we want. Can you imagine? Oh, one day before Britain goes over the cliff. This could turn into a madhouse. Well, what could be the result? The result could be the very next day, the hard Brexit. Now, if that is the result of this wrangling, if it all goes crazy, let's just read here just a little bit more. It says, remember the EU leaders meeting of 2015, where they were finalizing their EU reform offer to then UK Prime Minister David Cameron, that was hijacked in turn by the Italian and Greek Prime Ministers, both demanding an audience with France and Germany to push for more EU solidarity, the former over the migration crisis and the latter over the Greek debt crisis, before they would sign up to the EU position on David Cameron's reform request? So this has happened before. So what delights might await the EU on Thursday? More drum banging from Italy, perhaps, demanding more flexibility in its budget or more leeway in the EU migration regulations? Even when it comes to the issue actually on the table, the case for delaying Brexit, Europe's leaders are divided. They are beginning to think through the costs to the EU and themselves. So they've put it in the hands of these 27 member states, any one of which can block it. Can you see the trouble here? And they're going to hold this off until a big meeting on the 28th, one day before Britain goes off the cliff? An emergency EU summit on the 28th of March. Can we see where something could go drastically wrong here? Can you guys see the potential where this could go drastically wrong on the 28th of March, the very next day Britain goes off the cliff? Now, okay, now what we're going to talk about is, what if something really bad does go wrong? We get multiple member countries of these 27 different member countries that do decide that they want concessions that Brussels is not willing to give. And let's say the very next day, Britain goes off the cliff into a hard Brexit. Okay, what'll be the result? Okay, I'm going to explain to you guys what the result will be in one word, or two words. Financial turmoil. If you think the financial turmoil was bad when they made the vote to leave, and I remember what happened when they made the vote to leave, just that vote to leave, it didn't mean they're leaving, it meant they were leaving years later. Silver and gold prices shot upwards like a bullet during that financial turmoil. I remember silver was like, I remember that night watching silver and it was like $20, $20.50, $21, going up like that in a matter of minutes. It was like shooting upwards, you know? This could be a tremendous financial turmoil event if Britain has an actual hard Brexit. This could affect the stock market, which right now the stock market is in hyperbolic territory. It's like in nosebleed territory after this dream rally, this Goldilocks rally of super proportions. You know, the stock market's been pumped up on all these corporate earnings. This could be disaster because of this, what's just come about tonight. And so I'm getting it out to you guys as fast as I can. Have you got your gold and silver put away? That's a question for you guys. Have you got a little bit of cryptocurrency put away? Because it might cost you. It's just a possibility. It's not financial advice or anything else, but there is a possibility that after the 29th of March, it could cost you a hell of a lot more. You know, listen, thank you guys for listening. Like and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys in the next show. Bye-bye, guys.